Welcome back to the channel, everybody. The AliExpress Cyber Monday sale is coming soon, and what I'd like to show you today are a few watches that can be had at a really good deal. But in addition to that, I'd also like to show you some accessories that you really should consider with your watches. First and foremost, what you're looking at here are a couple different watch cases that I bought. I have a couple of these 15 slot cases, and in here there's a couple watches that I'll certainly showcase in a bit. But in addition to that, I've also got several of these 5-slot cases. I've got them in a couple different colors. This one here helps me identify my collection of Spinnaker collab watches, a couple of them from Long Island Watch, a couple of them from the Spinnaker Seconde edition. And also, I've got one of these 3-slot rolls. And this is what I travel with. Now, what I like about these cases is that they all use the same type of foam insert. So when I want to travel, all I need to do is just remove some of these empty pieces of foam and then just select whatever I want to take with me on a particular trip. Like so. And then I could just zip that up and be on the go and just fill the cases with the empties, and I'll go back to them later when I return from a trip. So these are very, very affordable. I don't really remember what I paid for these. I might have paid somewhere around $6 or $8 or $5, maybe $15 for this one here. But they're fantastic because they just make swapping out extremely easy. Now that I showed you some of my watch cases and rolls, let me show you some of the watches that are coming up during this sale. Now, many of these watches you've already seen in some past videos, like this San Martin here, but there are a couple watches that I haven't really shown you before. For example, this here. This is a large watch. This is the Steel Dive SD 1964. It's a 45 millimeter watch. It's a heavy watch. Has a helium escape valve. One of the things that I did, and one of the accessories that you can certainly add, is this ratcheting micro adjust clasp. And I basically put this on all of my large watches because it just makes fitting the watch a lot easier. This is a beautiful watch with this red gradient dial. It comes in a couple other colorways as well. There's an all black dial. This is a fantastic watch, and during the Cyber Monday sale, I'm sure it's going to be offered at an excellent price. Another watch that's comparable, yet slightly smaller, is this Kronos L6009M, I believe. This too has a helium escape valve. Also a large watch, not quite as large as you could see here with this as the Steel Dive, but still a large watch nonetheless. And again, with this, I also added one of those ratcheting micro adjust clasps. Of course, I will leave links to all of the watches and their accessories in the description below. But this is also a very nice piece. This comes in a few different colorways, but again, this blue dial that fades to black is just a fantastic look. Now, this is a watch recent to my collection. You're not going to find this on AliExpress. This you will find on a Long Island Watch because this is an Islander Cadola. This is the RPM. This watch you can get on their website for $135. However, I'll have a link in the description where with that link as a referral, I would get a $25 coupon for my next purchase, but you'll also get a $25 coupon on your purchase, knocking the price of this watch down from $135 down to $110. Now, if this is not your particular colorway, if you go on the Cadola website, you could find several different variations of this watch. They have a dark blue, they have a Viper black. They have a lot of beautiful colorways of this watch. It's a puck style watch, so you can see the lug to lug is very narrow. I believe it's 44 millimeter, same as the watch. So this watch is very comfortable to wear. Another watch that's very popular is this Red Star style watch. Now, I added a bracelet to this. This watch arrived in a green NATO strap. I also have a leather strap and an FKM strap for this, but I really like this bracelet and I chose to add it on there. Once again, I accessorized it with my own ratcheting clasp there. And what you're looking at here is the Top Hill 1963 Pilot Watch. And what I really like about this watch is this watch has a full lume dial. You can kind of see that right there. That is just awesome looking. Now, it doesn't last very long, but it is pretty cool while it lasts. This watch is always going on sale. I highly recommend the Top Hill over all the other brands. Reason being, it's a 40 millimeter watch, not a 38 millimeter like you typically see. It comes with a sapphire bezel, not an acrylic bezel like you normally see. And as I said, this one has a full lume dial. Beautiful watch. There's the movement there, the ST1901 movement. It's not the swan neck, but it's still a beautiful movement. And here is the racing version of that same Top Hill watch. This is also the 1963. However, this has a tachymeter bezel. This came with a black leather racing strap, but I replaced it for this stretchy NATO blue strap. Real comfortable watch. This is also a very attractive piece. These are all mechanical movements, so you do have to give the crown a few turns, and there it goes. So it is not an automatic movement that's just going to power itself or charge itself just by being on your wrist. Again, these are real affordable watches, so you could pick up both of these for probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $100 each. With coupons and discounts, I'm sure it'll drop near that price. Another uber popular watch that you'll find on AliExpress, and a favorite of mine, is this Steel Dive SD 1993. This happens to be with the Pepsi bezel. These are great value for the money. They come with a 120 click bidirectional bezel, so you can use that GMT function. Now, Steel Dives typically come with a 20 millimeter bracelet that tapers down to 18 to a signed Steel Dive fold over clasp. However, I replaced this bracelet with a 20 millimeter that tapers down to 16. It comes with an unsigned clasp, but it is the more traditional fold over clasp with on the fly micro adjust. So this was maybe a $15 to $20 bracelet option, but I thought it fit this watch much better. It's much cleaner, and I prefer it over the standard bracelet and clasp. Now, when it comes to straps and also bracelets, the options are limitless on AliExpress. There's tons of choices. I'm not going to leave any links. Just go on there, see what you like, and if there's something that you like, something that you think will fit, you should certainly consider it. Now, if you're going to accessorize your watch with a new strap or a new bracelet, one accessory I would highly recommend is a digital micrometer. Now, I put blue tape on this just because it's a steel end and I don't want to scratch the watch, but a digital micrometer certainly goes a long way into helping you identify just how wide of a strap you might need. This one here, as you can see, is 20 millimeters. I'm left-handed. These digital micrometers are relatively cheap. I think I paid somewhere around $12 for this, but a left-handed version, I cannot find one for under $80 to $100. Why left-handed calipers are so expensive, I have no idea. But it's great to have a set of calipers because with this, you can certainly confirm your case diameters as well as lug widths, so you're buying the right strap, the right bracelet for your watch. Worthwhile investment getting one of these. Now, if you're a watch enthusiast, another worthwhile accessory to have is also a diamond tester. With a diamond tester, you could certainly test the glass to confirm that what you have is sapphire or if it's a mineral crystal or something else. So just a simple test. We can confirm what type of glass you actually have on your watch. So as you can see here, these are both sapphire crystals. Now, if I take a look at the back side, the exhibition case back is not a sapphire crystal. So you can see here, this is a mineral crystal. So I have a mineral crystal on the back side, but a sapphire crystal on the front. And I can confirm that with one of these relatively inexpensive diamond testers. Another great accessory worth picking up is really nothing more than just a basic set of tools. I have this thing scattered all over the place because I use it that frequently. But you have everything. You have your block. You have pins to knock out, pins to size your bracelet. There's a case back tool if you need to change batteries. I mean, I have a bunch of spare pins in here. There's a tool here if you want to remove a strap. These are relatively inexpensive as well. Instead of those little push mechanisms that they give you with the watch, it's just so much easier to just use the block and hammer. You knock out the pins with the metal side of the hammer, then you knock the pins back in with the plastic side so you don't mar the finish. These are just really cheap. They come with everything that you need. It's pretty basic. There's more elaborate versions than this, but for me, this is more than adequate. And last, but certainly not least, what you see here are a pair of my watch winders. I first purchased the one on the left with the wood grain exterior. Liked it so much, I then purchased the faux leather one on the right that has a locking case. These are great because not only are they watch winders that can be adjusted independently, but they're also beautiful display cases with their LED lighting. The thing that really surprised me about these winders is the way it was delivered. Now, it took a month to arrive, but the way they were packaged was absolutely phenomenal. There is no way they're going to get damaged in shipping. These are packed so well, they could drop from a plane into your front yard and no damage will come to them. Now, I'm about to play a video where you can actually hear them running. Notice how me switching the lights on and off and switching the motors on is louder than the actual motors turning. These are whisper quiet. They will not keep you up at night. And as And that's what I have for you today. Not just a small collection of some of my watches, but also watch cases, watch rolls, and some of the tools that you can pick up during this Cyber Monday sale. And as always, if you like this video, please take a second to like and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave me a comment below. Thanks again for watching.